Hey guys, day 3 of shoulder rehab. We've talked about mobilization of the thoracic spine, mobilization of the scapulothoracic joint with stability. And so today we're adding a third piece to the element. We're moving out of the central point of the shoulder to the bigger muscles, trap, deltoids, and even lat. So here's what we typically see is that pain generation, like where pain is coming from, where it's being generated from, we usually will say, hey, it's because of it's a rotator cuff tendonitis or rotator cuff tear. But what we find is that people have rotator cuff tears, but then all of a sudden we treat the deltoid, the trap, the lat, and the shoulder feels better. How could that be? So is the rotator cuff tendonitis tear really the source? And what we find is that if we focus on the bigger muscles, typically we have better movement, range of motion, and less pain. So what can you do? Simple. We want to mobilize the trap, the delts, and the lat. Some of the best ways to do that is simply grabbing a foam roller, laying, and mobilizing your armpit. So we can hit both the lat, the chest, and even get into the back posterior part of the shoulder. We call those the teres major minor group. Spending time in foam rolling your armpits is actually a really good way of opening up your shoulder. And then of course you're laying on the ground with all of this. You can even then, standing up, mobilize your delt, okay? And all you're doing is just rolling that tissue out, whether it's a foam roller or even getting in a lacrosse ball on the wall onto that delt, and you're just rolling kind of back and forth and mobilizing the delt. So this is gonna knock out some trigger points. And when you feel a tender spot, just sit there, roll for a second, and really open things up. If you want to add some uniqueness to it, you can mobilize, which means you do some foam rolling, add in ranges of motion to it, and that helps open up that tissue even more. Now let's just say you're doing it, but you're not getting full relief. What do we do here in the office? Well, to see quicker changes and to see more actually permanent changes, we go deeper into the muscle groups that you may not be able to hit. And that's where we use functional dry needling. So we're gonna use acupuncture needles to get deep into the dysfunctional tissue, clear out those deep trigger points, and then allow that muscle to regain its full range of motion. So for you, start mobilizing these bigger muscles, delt, chest, lats, and trap by foam rolling, stretching, and immediately that'll start regaining some range of motion in your shoulder, which will start reducing pain and create better range of motion for your training.